Today on Newsbreak,
we're entering a January thaw. Jacob Moss will have the details.
And we'll have the Winter Rec teachers in studio talking about their polar plunge event. All this and more on this Thursday, January 15th, 2015.
Good morning, SLHS. I'm Dr. Davis.
And I'm Meredith Heinitz.
We are starting today with our Winter Rec action camps. The class went skiing at Mount Cato yesterday. Let's check out some of the clips from yesterday.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Well, that sure looks like fun, don't you think?
Yeah, looks like it was pretty fun out there.
We have Jacob in with the weather. Maribeth, I want your input on the weather. What do you think about it?
I still think it is really cold out.
Oh, come on. It's getting warmer out there.
I want 80s, that's what I want.
You want 80s?
I don't have any 80s in that forecast, sorry.
Yeah, that's gonna be a while.
Also, we go talk about the January thaw anyways.
Yep.
Okay. So, let's take a look. And the last time we had a high of 32 degrees or higher, that was Christmas Day. We were about 35 then. And so it's been 20 days below freezing for highs. Well, we're going to change that today. A high of 35 degrees today. Northwest winds 10 to 20 miles an hour, so not too terrible. But it is above freezing, so we're going to be breaking that trend. That's just the start of this January thaw. And as we take a look at the 7-day forecast, you do see those really warm conditions come in for Saturday, 43 at least with windy conditions. That windy condition is going to bring in that really warm air for Saturday. Then we have a really small chance of snow Monday night, especially going into Tuesday, some windy conditions as well. We'll be cooling down a little bit, 33 there on Tuesday, and then back into the 20s for Wednesday. But for now, back to you guys.
Now we're going to check out some of the hashtag SLJ term tweets that you guys have been sending in. First, we have Mrs. Taves with J-term students making the blue work for them at the Humane Society. The picture of people painting. Mrs. Taves, J-term students get a close look at the animal enclosure at the Sioux Falls Zoo, and there's a picture of them with the giraffe in the background. Here's one from Jack Waters, AD Squad, hashtag SLJ term, and there's everybody in their class. Here's one from Mrs. Searick at the Villisca Axe Murder House, hashtag SLJ term, and that looks a little spooky. Here's one from Lucio Hagan, dropping some funky fresh rhymes in AD today, hashtag music day. That sounds creative. Here's one from Jacob Voss, on top of Mount Cato, hashtag SLJ term, looks like the whole class again. Here's one from Mr. O'Hagan, Bluebird Day for the Winter Rec, hashtag SLJ term. That looks like a fun trip. Alex Prignitz with a GoPro selfie here. These ghosts have got nothing on us. Hashtag SLJ term outside the Villisca Axe Murder House. Here's one from Mr. Frederick. Laying in the axe murder bed. Hashtag SLJ term. That's a little spooky as well. Here's one from Mrs. Taves again. Just monkeying around at the Sioux Falls Zoo. Hashtag SLJ term. Here's one from Mrs. Kreiner. This new house plans are almost ready for construction to begin. Hashtag SLJ term. Here's one from Mr. Schmidt. Charlie Miller is interning at the Dickinson County Animal Clinic. Here's one from Newsbreak. Picture getting ready for our Florida J-term interview, and there's one with me, Tanner, and Tyler. Here's one from Tyler Jennis, an inspiring picture of Mick Skinner pushing Tanner into the ocean. You know, continue to keep using the hashtag SLJ term throughout the month of January. And then back to you, Maribeth.
Alright, now we got Mr. Hagan in here talking about the polar plunge event for Winter Rec. So can you explain what's happening during this event?
Sure. What happens is I announced about a week ago that there'd be a big announcement for the students and staff, and so today's the day. A little drum roll. You ready? The announcement is that everybody on the student staff is going to have an opportunity to participate with Winter Rec, and we're going to do a legitimate polar plunge. It's going to take place on Tuesday the 20th. It'll be sometime during the hours of lunchtime. Times will kind of are to be determined, but we hope to get as many students and staff as we can.
Can you explain the history behind it and who's involved?
Sure. Couple years ago when we finished Winter Rec, we surveyed the students and said, what did you like, what didn't you like, for the future classes that we had. And I think because of the proximity to Winter Games, some of the students said, what about the idea of a polar plunge? Last year it didn't fit into the schedule, but I can remember yelling out at the bus one time, how many of you would do the polar plunge if we said we were going to do it? You were in the class. Yeah. And I was amazed, 100% said we love the opportunity. Going into last year's class and even this year's class, it was nice. Not only were we physically active, but we started having a mind frame of what can we give back to some of these agencies in the community that have helped us out. So we were doing volunteer work and different things. And this year going into it, we thought, well, could we do the polar plunge, and could we do it for a purpose? Could we do it to raise money similar to what they do at the Winter Games? We got our roster, and a couple names stood out when we were looking at the end, and we saw the O'Neill family and we saw the Walls family, and I think it's obvious what's happening there. But then what was kind of awesome is we started talking to our students, and we clearly decided that those aren't the only families that are in need, and we thought within our class, could we raise money for Spirit Lake families that are in need and be able to help them out. And so the students got together, we had a little name contest, and we came out with the slogan, "Freezing for a Reason." And right now what you could do as students is we're most likely going to have it set up where they do the polar plunge, kind of right off where the dock is at Arnold's Park, kind of where the Queen is docked. We're going to set it up for time-wise where 2 students have to do it at the same time, so that way we can kind of keep people moving. I think that no arguments when you're soaking wet out in the freezing cold. You probably want to get in there and get out of there as fast as possible. We're going to have a minimum of $5, but I want to talk about that a little bit. Let's just put this in perspective. There's 400 staff and students. And if we could take those $500, that's a significant amount. We could quickly have $2,000. And then what I really encourage people to do is, I think when you have a situation like this with these families, people want a way to be able to help, but they don't really know where they can fit in. And so maybe students could go around and approach people, let them know this is happening. And I'm really guessing that people in Spirit Lake, it's pretty magic how they want to be able to help out, and I'm thinking that they would want to help to the cause, and who knows how much money we can raise to try to help these different families out.
How can people sign up for this event?
Sure. We have sign-up sheets at the office, so Michelle and Dana, sorry in advance, but hopefully you get a good swarm of people coming down. If you have checks, you make them payable to Spirit Lake Community Schools, and in the little memo post, put the Freezing for a Reason so they know what that cause is for. And yeah, sign-up sheets are there already this morning, so you can go there as soon as possible, sign up. You'll notice that there's a little slip in there that says for your donation, but then there's also another roll for your new donation. And if you keep accumulating more before Tuesday or even after Tuesday, it'll just go to the cause.
Sounds good. Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you for having me on. Cheers.
That is all the time we have for today. Thanks for watching Newsbreak, and have a freezing day, SLHS.